I poured myself a glass of sweet tea and settled into the wicker chair on my back porch, watching the Spanish moss sway in the humid Charleston breeze. The afternoon sun painted everything gold, the way it always did in late September, filtering through the live oak trees that had stood in my yard longer than I'd been alive. Everything felt peaceful. Too peaceful, maybe. I'd learned soon enough that sometimes peace is just the silence before everything falls apart. My name is Margaret Hayes. I'm 71 years old, and I've lived in this house on Rutledge Avenue for 43 years. My husband Thomas built the addition himself back in '89, the sunroom where I grow my orchids. He passed 6 years ago, heart attack, quick and merciful. Since then, it's just been me and this big old house with its creaking floors and the garden Thomas loved so much. I took a sip of tea and felt the glass slip slightly in my hand. It had been happening more often lately. That weakness in my grip. My daughter Emily said it was just age, told me not to worry. She's a physical therapist, so I trusted her judgment. She'd been coming by more often these past few months, helping me with things around the house. Such a good daughter, I thought, always looking out for her mother. The doorbell rang, pulling me from my thoughts. I wasn't expecting anyone, but then I remembered Emily had mentioned something about scheduling a furnace inspection. Fall was coming, and the old system needed its annual check before winter. I made my way through the house, my hip aching like it always did after sitting too long. Through the peephole, I saw a young woman in navy coveralls, a tool bag slung over her shoulder. The company logo on her shirt read Low Country HVAC Services. I opened the door. Mrs. Hayes? She was petite, maybe 30, with her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail and kind eyes that crinkled when she smiled. I'm Rosa Martinez. Your daughter called about the furnace inspection? Oh, yes. Come in. I stepped aside. I'm sorry. Emily didn't tell me exactly when you'd be coming. No problem, ma'am. These service calls get scheduled pretty quick this time of year. Everyone wants their heat checked before it gets cold. She wiped her feet carefully on the mat before entering. I'll try not to be in your way. The furnace is in the basement? Yes, down those stairs in the kitchen. Can I get you some water or anything? I'm fine, thank you. This should take about 45 minutes. I watched her head down the basement stairs, then returned to my tea and my orchids. The sunroom was my sanctuary, full of the delicate blooms I'd been cultivating for years. A moth orchid I'd had since Thomas died was finally producing new buds. I misted it gently, talking to it the way I always did. Thomas used to tease me about that. 20 minutes passed. I heard Rosa moving around down there, the clink of tools, normal sounds. Then everything went quiet. Too quiet. I was about to check on her when I heard her footsteps on the stairs, fast, urgent. She appeared in the kitchen doorway, and her face had gone pale. Mrs. Hayes. Her voice was carefully controlled, but I could hear something underneath it. Fear? I need you to come look at something. But first, do you have your cell phone on you? It's in my purse. Why? What's wrong? Please get it. And your purse. Your wallet, any medications you take. She was moving toward me now, her hands shaking slightly. Mrs. Hayes, I need you to trust me. We need to leave this house right now. My heart started racing. What are you talking about? What did you find? I'll explain everything. But not here. Please, just grab your things. Do you have a jacket? Rosa, you're scaring me. She looked me straight in the eye. I'm sorry, but you should be scared. There's something in your basement that shouldn't be there. Something dangerous. And Mrs. Hayes, she swallowed hard. Don't call your daughter. Don't call anyone in your family yet, please. The way she said it made my blood run cold. Don't call Emily, my own daughter? I don't understand. I know. I'll explain everything once we're safe. But we need to go now. She glanced at the basement door like something might come through it. Please. Something in her face. The genuine terror I saw there made me move. I grabbed my purse from the hall table, checked that my phone and wallet were inside. My hands were shaking as I pulled on a light cardigan. Where are we going? My van. It's safe. There. She practically hustled me out the front door. One hand lightly on my elbow, moving fast but trying not to show it. The white HVAC van was parked in my driveway. She opened the passenger door for me, helped me up into the seat, then walked quickly around to the driver's side. Once we were both inside with the doors locked, she turned to face me. Mrs. Hayes, I'm going to call the police now. But first, I need to show you some pictures I took. They're not easy to look at. She pulled out her phone and opened the photo gallery. The first image showed my furnace, the old train unit Thomas had installed 20 years ago. It looked normal to me. But then she zoomed in on a section near the gas line. See this? She pointed to what looked like a small metal box, maybe 4 inches square, attached to the pipe with some kind of bracket. Wires ran from it into the main gas valve. This is not part of your furnace. This is not part of any furnace. Someone installed this. What is it? It's a solenoid valve connected to a timer and what looks like a remote trigger. See these wires here. She swiped to another photo. They run up through the ductwork and connect to a wireless receiver hidden in your air return vent. Mrs. Hayes, someone has rigged your furnace to release gas into your house on command. Not for heat, just raw natural gas. And look at this. The next photo showed something else. A small device tucked behind the water heater. That's a spark generator. It's positioned so that when enough gas builds up in the basement, probably while you're sleeping upstairs, it would ignite. The whole thing would look like a terrible accident. Old furnace, gas leak, tragic explosion. I couldn't breathe. The words weren't making sense. No, that can't be right. Who would? How many people have a key to your house? Just Emily, my daughter. She has the only spare. Rosa's jaw tightened. Mrs. Hayes, I need to ask you something, and I need you to really think about the answer. Has your daughter been asking about your will? Your property? Life insurance? My mouth went dry. About 2 months ago, she suggested I update my will. Said I should make sure everything was clear. Avoid probate complications. She even took me to her lawyer friend. Did you change anything? I left everything to her. She's my only child. Her brother died in Iraq in 2005. There's no one else. Rosa closed her eyes briefly. I'm so sorry. I'm calling the police now. Wait, please. You're saying my daughter tried to kill me? That can't be right. Emily would never, but even as I said it, things started clicking into place. The questions about the house value, the suggestion that I add her name to my bank accounts for emergencies, the new vitamins she'd been bringing me that made me feel foggy and weak, the way she'd been coming by more often, always when I was alone. And then I remembered something that made my stomach drop. She's been giving me sleeping pills, said they'd help with my insomnia, but I never had insomnia before she started bringing them. My voice came out as a whisper. She wanted me to sleep soundly. Rosa reached over and squeezed my hand. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Then she dialed 911. While we waited for the police, sitting in that van with the late afternoon sun beating down, Rosa told me about her grandmother in Mexico who'd been swindled by a nephew, left penniless in her 80s. When I saw that device, Rosa said, I knew exactly what it was. My ex-boyfriend was an engineer. He talked once about how easy it would be to rig a gas system. I didn't think I'd ever actually see it. You could have just, I don't know, not said anything. Finished the inspection, left. No, ma'am. I couldn't. Her voice was firm. My abuela died alone. Because no one spoke up when they should have. I won't let that happen to someone else. 2 police cars pulled up within 10 minutes, lights flashing but no sirens. Rosa explained everything to the officers, showed them her photos. One of them, a sergeant named Williams, looked at me with such kindness it almost broke me. "Ma'am, we're going to need you to stay somewhere else tonight while we process the scene. Do you have friends or family?" He caught himself. "Do you have friends nearby? There's Linda. Linda Patterson, she lives 2 streets over. We've been friends for 30 years. Good. We'll have an officer take you there once we've documented everything. But first, I need to ask, does your daughter know about this inspection?" I tried to remember. "She scheduled it. She called the company." Rosa spoke up. "Actually, sir, she called and requested a specific technician. Danny Torres. He was supposed to come today, but he called in sick this morning, and I got dispatched instead. The company only called Mrs. Hayes this morning to confirm I was coming instead." The sergeant's expression darkened. "We're going to need to talk to this Danny Torres. He's my supervisor's cousin," Rosa said quietly. "Been with the company 6 months. Everything was happening so fast. More police arrived. Someone in a hazmat suit went into my house. They brought me a bottle of water from somewhere. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink that seemed obscene given what was happening. Thomas had loved Charleston sunsets. Then Emily's car turned onto my street. My daughter pulled up behind one of the police cars. Confusion on her face. She was still in her work scrubs, a teal set with cartoon dogs on the shirt. She'd always loved dogs. We had a golden retriever when she was little. How could this woman who'd cried for 3 days when that dog died be the same person who'd wired my house to explode? "Mom?" She rushed toward me, but an officer stopped her. "Mom, what's going on? Are you okay?" I saw all the police cars and, "Ma'am, I need you to step back, please." Officer Williams positioned himself between us. "That's my mother. What's happening, Mom?" Real panic in her voice now. Or was it? Was anything I'd ever known about my daughter real? Sergeant Williams spoke calmly. "Miss Hayes, I'm going to need you to come with me. We have some questions about some equipment we found in your mother's basement." I watched her face. I watched the exact moment she understood. Her eyes went wide, then cut to the HVAC van, to Rosa standing beside it. The confusion on her face melted into something else: calculation, then fear, then a blankness that made her look like a stranger. "I want a lawyer," Emily said. "I'm not saying anything without a lawyer." They put her in handcuffs. My daughter, in her cartoon dog scrubs, hands behind her back. She didn't look at me. Not once. Officer Williams drove me to Linda's house. On the way, my phone buzzed. A text message from Emily's phone, but sent 20 minutes before she'd arrived at my house, before she'd been arrested. A scheduled message, probably. "Mom, I'm worried about you. You seemed confused when I visited yesterday. I think we should talk about memory care facilities. I found a nice one in Mount Pleasant. We can go see it this weekend." Memory care. She was already building the narrative. The confused old woman who didn't know what she was doing, who might have tampered with her own furnace in her deteriorating mental state. If the explosion had happened, if I'd died, she would have told everyone I'd been getting forgetful. The sleeping pills probably would have shown up in my system too, supporting the story of a woman not in her right mind. I started shaking and couldn't stop. Linda took one look at me and pulled me into her arms. "Oh, Maggie. Oh, sweetheart." She helped me inside, got me settled on her couch with a blanket even though it wasn't cold. She made chamomile tea I didn't drink and sat with me while I stared at nothing. The police came back later that evening. They'd found more emails between Emily and Danny Torres, the HVAC technician, who'd called in sick. Payments from Emily's account to his. Text messages discussing timing, discussing how to make sure I'd be asleep on the right night. And they'd found something else in my house cameras, tiny ones. Hidden in the smoke detectors, in the living room lamp. She'd been watching me. "We're also testing those vitamins and sleeping pills she gave you," Sergeant Williams said gently. "Based on your symptoms, the weakness, the confusion, we think they might have contained more than what was on the label." They'd found the life insurance policy too. Emily had taken one out on me 6 months ago, without my knowledge, forging my signature, $2 million. The house was worth another $800,000, maybe more given the Charleston real estate market. Almost 3 million reasons to kill your mother. The trial took 8 months. I lived with Linda during that time, unable to face going back to my house even after they'd removed all the devices, all the cameras. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Emily's face that night, blank and cold. Her lawyer tried to paint me as a confused old woman making accusations. But the evidence was overwhelming. The devices, the emails, the forged insurance policy, the toxicology reports showing elevated levels of sedatives in my system, and analysis of those vitamins, revealing they contained substances designed to cause muscle weakness and cognitive impairment. Danny Torres testified against her in exchange for a reduced sentence. He explained how she'd approached him at a bar, how she'd slowly pulled him into the plan with money and promises, how she'd told him I was a terrible mother who'd abused her as a child, that she was just getting what she deserved. All lies. I'd given Emily everything: dance lessons, college, a car when she graduated, her wedding, which cost $40,000. I'd helped with her down payment on her condo. The prosecutor asked me to testify. I sat in that witness box and looked at my daughter across the courtroom, and she still wouldn't meet my eyes. They asked me about our relationship, about the sleeping pills, about the house, and the will. I answered every question in a voice that sounded like it belonged to someone else. Did you love your daughter, Mrs. Hayes? Yes. I loved her more than anything in the world. Do you still love her? I looked at Emily then. Really looked at her. She was staring at her hands, jaw clenched. I love the daughter I thought I had. But that person doesn't exist. She never did. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts: attempted murder, fraud, conspiracy. The judge gave her 22 years. I didn't cry when they read the sentence. I'd done all my crying already. I just stood up, walked out of that courtroom, and drove to the beach. I sold the house on Rutledge Avenue, couldn't live there anymore, couldn't even drive past it without feeling sick. I bought a small cottage on Folly Beach, something simple, something Thomas never touched, so it held no memories, just me and the sound of waves. Rosa came to visit me a month after the trial. I'd sent her a thank you card inadequate for someone who'd saved my life and included my new address. She showed up on a Saturday morning with coffee and bagels. We sat on my new porch, watching surfers in the morning light. "How are you?" she asked. "I don't know yet," I said honestly. Some days I can't believe it happened. Some days I can't believe I didn't see it coming. It's not your fault. I know that in my head. My heart's taking longer to catch up. I sipped my coffee. "How's work?" "Good. The company gave me a commendation, and they fired Danny's supervisor for hiring him without proper vetting." She paused. "Mrs. Hayes, there's something I wanted to tell you. I'm going back to school." "For what?" "Social work. Specifically, elder advocacy." After everything that happened, I kept thinking about my abuela, about you, about how many other people this happens to. I want to help. I want to catch these things before they get as far as yours did. I reached over and squeezed her hand. "Your grandmother would be proud. I'm proud. Rosa comes by most Saturdays now. We've become friends, real friends. She brought her girlfriend to meet me last month, a sweet woman named Claire who teaches kindergarten. They're talking about getting married. Sometimes Rosa's abuela, a different one, her other grandmother who lives here in Charleston, comes with her. Senora Martinez speaks limited English and I speak terrible Spanish, but we understand each other. We're both women who've survived the worst kind of betrayal, the kind that comes from people who were supposed to love us. I've started volunteering at the senior center downtown, talking to others about financial abuse, about the warning signs. It's harder than you'd think, telling people that their children might hurt them. No one wants to believe it. I wouldn't have believed it either, until it happened to me. The prosecutor, a woman named Jennifer Chen, told me that cases like mine are more common than anyone wants to admit. Adult children killing elderly parents for inheritance. She said most don't get caught because they're careful, they make it look like natural causes or accidents. You're alive because Rosa was paying attention, Jennifer said. And because your daughter got arrogant, rushed it. I think about that sometimes, late at night when sleep won't come. How close I came. If Emily had been more patient, if she'd waited another month or two, if Rosa hadn't been the one to show up that day, would I be dead? Would anyone have questioned it? Old woman, old house, tragic gas explosion. People would have comforted Emily, told her it wasn't her fault, helped her through her grief while she collected the insurance money and sold my home. I've learned things about myself these past months. I'm stronger than I thought. I can start over at 71. I can make new friends, new routines, new memories. I can live by the beach and let the sound of waves wash away the worst of the nightmares. I've also learned that family isn't always blood. Rosa isn't my daughter, but she's family now. So is Linda, who let me live with her for 8 months and never once complained about the nights I woke up screaming. So is Senora Martinez, who teaches me Spanish recipes and tells me stories about her childhood in Oaxaca. The people who love you will never make you afraid in your own home. They won't watch you through hidden cameras or drug your food or rig your house to explode. They won't see you as a bank account with a pulse, counting down the days until they can cash in. Real love doesn't come with a countdown timer attached to a gas valve. I got a letter from Emily last month. The first contact since the trial. It was forwarded from my lawyer's office. She doesn't have my new address, and she never will. I almost threw it away without opening it, but curiosity got the better of me. The letter was 2 pages of justifications. I was already old. I wasn't using the money. She'd worked hard and deserved something. She'd been planning to make it quick and painless, as if that made it better, as if there's a painless way to murder your mother for money. There was no apology, no acknowledgement that what she'd done was monstrous. Just explanations, excuses. And at the end, a request. Would I come visit her? I read it once, then fed it into my paper shredder. The answer is no. The answer will always be no. I've made a new will. The house goes to Rosa when I die. She and Claire have been talking about buying property, and Folly Beach is expensive. The rest gets split between several charities that help elder abuse victims and a scholarship fund at the College of Charleston for first-generation college students studying social work. Emily will get nothing. Not a penny, not a photo album, not a single piece of Thomas's furniture. Sometimes people at the senior center ask if I'll ever forgive her. I don't know how to answer that. Forgiveness seems like it should require remorse from the person who hurt you. And Emily's shown none. What she showed me in that letter was that she still thinks she was justified, that she's the victim somehow. So no, I don't forgive her. But I'm learning to forgive myself for not seeing it. For being the kind of mother who wanted so badly to believe her daughter was good that I ignored the signs. They were there, the 2 frequent questions about money, the insistence on managing my finances, the way she'd isolated me from friends, making me think I was becoming forgetful when it was really the drugs. I forgive myself for loving someone who never really loved me back. Yesterday, Rosa and I went kayaking in the marsh. She'd never been, and I'd been dozens of times with Thomas. We paddled through the winding creeks, watching herons fish in the shallows, and for a few hours, I didn't think about Emily at all. I just existed in the moment, the sun on my face, the rhythm of the paddle, the sound of Rosa laughing when she spotted a dolphin. This is my life now. Not the one I planned, not the one I expected, but it's mine, and I'm alive to live it. That's more than Emily wanted for me. I'm 71 years old. I survived my daughter's attempt to murder me. I've started over in a beach cottage with friends I chose, not relatives I was stuck with. I go to sleep without sleeping pills and wake up without wondering if this will be my last day. Every morning, I make myself a cup of coffee, dark roast, no sugar, and sit on my porch watching the sun rise over the Atlantic. The pelicans dive for fish. The waves roll in and out, constant and reliable. And I'm grateful. Grateful for Rosa's sharp eyes and quick thinking. Grateful for Linda's spare bedroom and patience. Grateful for every single day I get to wake up and breathe the salt air. The house on Rutledge Avenue sold to a young family with 3 kids and a golden retriever. I drove by once, just to see. There were toys in the yard and flowers in the beds Thomas planted. It made me happy, seeing life there again instead of death. I don't know what happens when Emily gets out of prison in 22 years. I'll be 93 if I'm still alive. Maybe by then I'll feel differently. Maybe not. Either way, I know one thing for certain: she won't have keys to my house. Won't be in my will. Won't have any claim on my life or my death. Because here's what I've learned. You can't choose your blood relatives, but you absolutely can choose your family. And family, real family, doesn't wire your basement to explode. Real family shows up in a navy coveralls and saves your life even though they've never met you before. Real family lets you cry on their couch for 8 months. Real family teaches you Spanish recipes and takes you kayaking. Real family makes you feel safe. And for the first time in years, maybe for the first time since Thomas died, I feel safe. Not because I have security cameras or better locks or a monitored alarm system, though I have all of those now. I feel safe because I'm surrounded by people who see me as a person, not a portfolio. Who want me alive, not dead. Who celebrate my 72nd birthday next month because they're glad I'm here, not counting down until I'm not. The sun's setting now, turning the ocean pink and gold. Rosa and Claire are coming for dinner. Senora Martinez is bringing her famous tamales. Linda's already here, helping me set the table on the porch so we can eat outside. This is what the rest of my life looks like. Small moments with people I love, people who love me back for real. Sunsets over the ocean, coffee in the morning, kayaking on Saturdays, volunteering on Tuesdays, a life that's quieter than the one I had before, but infinitely safer. A life where I can breathe easy in my own home, and that, after everything, feels like winning.